typically, what exactly is the job responsibility or difference between a company secretary who's into practice and who's into a job and an industry?
Yeah, I think in the industry it is very, very clearly laid down. As I said, his responsibilities, compliance professional, governance professional. He has broadly three, four categories: managing the board management, conducting the board meetings, all of that. Shareholder management and investor relations. Somebody is putting money, the allocation of shares, ensuring that the shares are given to the shareholders, investor relation, shareholder meetings, shareholders' rights, protecting the shareholders' rights, directors' rights is the job of the company secretary, right? And then now increasingly you have the institutional capital. Either you have a public shareholders or a private shareholder. Private shareholders means you have funds who are investing in.
Correct.
Now, complying with your shareholders agreement, maintaining the relations with the investors, your private equity guy or a venture capital. Now, if it comes to the listed companies, you are taking money from the public shareholders, and there is a lot more responsibility there. Company cannot misuse that money. Returns have to be delivered to the shareholders, right? And shareholders' rights have to be protected. And in the listed companies, there is also a concept called, companies have access to the unpublished price sensitive information. You are a senior management, your CEO is taking lot of decision, board is taking lot of decision, CFO is taking lot of decisions. So between the key management person and the outside shareholders, there is a information gap. Key management has lot of unpublished information access, but the public shareholders do not have. Now this has to be managed properly. Just because you are part of the management, by using that information, you cannot get benefited.
Correct.
This information has to be passed on to the even public shareholders. There are disclosure guidelines, ensuring that those disclosures are done right time, and there is a trading window closure. The key management personnel should not deal in their shares during the period of publication of results, dividend kind of decision, bonus kind of a decision. So this is the role of a company secretary in employment. Besides this corporate function, sometimes they take care of legal function, they take care of IPR. They now some of the company secretaries are managing global companies. If you see, a lot of MNCs have Indian headquarters for the region. Asia region, it is operated from Hyderabad or India. Some companies have Singapore as the region, but company secretaries from India, they are managing multiple geographies, corporate secretarial functions. We have adopted the common law, from the UK. All common law countries have follow same thing. When our Indian companies are either Indian companies or MNCs have a multiple geographies, right? They have companies in maybe Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, maybe Japan. So now these people are taking responsibility for a group company secretary, managing the compliance function, corporate secretarial function of all these companies. That is the role of the company secretary in employment. Now, company secretary in practice, it came, I think, the last 40 years. This practicing side of a profession came, but last 20 years, it has evolved into a lot more. Say there is one role which is a regulatory driven. Under the Companies Act, under the listing regulations, it says these are the things which have to be done by a company secretary in practice. Like an example of secretarial audit. Listed companies, large companies, the secretarial audit has to be done by the company secretary in practice. What the secretarial audit means? Secretarial audit means the shareholder compliance are done properly, board meetings are done properly, related party disclosures have done properly, the disclosures to the stock exchange have been done properly. All material events, material compliances with reference to the Companies Act, foreign exchange regulations, and the listing compliances, labor law compliance, an independent professional auditing and giving a certificate. This is one of the very, very important functions. Besides that, there are several other attestation functions which require a certification from the company secretary in practice. But besides that, now given the knowledge and experience and exposure the company secretary has, company secretary is dealing with the listed companies, dealing with the stock exchanges, dealing with the SEBI. So he has become expert in advising how to go for a public issue,
Correct.
either main board or the SME. Similarly, lot of the funding transactions, a decision is taken, but that needs to be implemented. There is a due diligence process. The company secretary, practicing company secretary can advise. The shareholder agreement, M&A, mergers and amalgamation. So, foreign direct investment. And companies, Indian companies want to set up companies outside India. All these areas, the practicing company secretaries got knowledge. They are able to advise. Now, I mean, we have become experts in these areas. Public issues, M&A, fundraising, the compliance required for it, structuring required for it. That is how the profession has evolved. So people are doing extremely well and, adding a lot of value to the companies and founders in their journey.
So actually, huge more like even I do not know these many are the compliances which needs to be followed. Like even there are certain important things which people should know. Like people will think as he's an CFO or he's a managing director, he knows all the insider information, he will earn out of it.
Right.
But it's different because there is someone who is governing it. Because this is very important because many people will feel like he is a managing director, his company is listed, people will know like this share might increase or share might decrease because he already know the annual results and they will feel he's already benefited out of it. But the situation is different because Indian government has already put some certain restrictions which need to be followed.
Correct.
So that is the main we as a professional know these things, but people do not know generally.
Correct.
And then